everybody, welcome back to Stringman Guitars. We're down here in the underground lair. We've got another Reverend guitar. It's a Double Agent. And before I get started, let me please ask you to subscribe, like, share, whatever. If you're in the greater Pittsburgh area and you need your axe sharpened, stringmanguitars@gmail.com, Facebook, and on with the show. Okay, this is a brand new, unmessed with Reverend Double Agent. It's very much Telly inspired, just like the buckshot that we had earlier. This has the bass boost cut. It has a P90 and a humbucker, stop bar and Tune-o-Matic bridge, roasted maple neck, has a very cool string tree. It takes care of 3 strings. It's their bone-like nut, probably something similar to Tusk. It's a 2-piece neck. That's why there's no skunk stripe there. 6-bolt neck joint locking tuners. So let's get on it. First of all, let's check and see what the relief is. It should be 10,000ths. Putting at the body joint, and it's not 10,000ths, it's way too flat. So yeah, if we you hear that rattling there, that's because the strings travel in ellipse closer to the middle of the, between here and here, right around the 12th fret, which is halfway, and that's some of the buzzing that you get when the neck is too flat. So we have to loosen the truss rod, just same case as in the other one. Actually have the tools for this one here, which is kind of weird to give you a small wrench. Small Allen key. I'm not quite sure what that does. And then of course we have the Truss Rod Wrench. He bought this at bsmusicshop.com for $8.99. Well, at least that was the price on it. So let's get with it. New strings, 1046 Diodarios. I'm going to go ahead and make some adjustments now, and we'll come back and double check it in a minute. Oh, I also always want to check to make sure, and see, this one's different than the other one. String height is a little higher. Let's see here. Yeah, it's actually quite a bit higher. And the back of the bridge is not clearing the, let's see, it's clearing everything with the exception of the 2 E's. So the stop bar has to come up a little bit because you don't want that. It hurts your intonation if the string is against the back of the Tune-o-Matic bridge. So we'll fix that too. Yeah, they want 5. We got 5 there, and 4, actually that's where they want it, but when I release the truss rod, it's going to, that number is going to go up, so we'll have to bring the bridge down. So stand by, let me do those things, and we'll be right back. They put a card in here, It says, warning, this product can expose you to chemicals which are known to the state of California to cause cancer and birth defects or other reproductive harm. Glad we don't live in California. Ha! Okay, we have our string relief set to, or neck relief set to 10 thousandths. And that's cool, but that brought our string height up to 6/64 as opposed to 5/64, and that's too high. Sometimes I like this tool, sometimes I hate it. I don't like to use the screwdriver. We're going to use a screwdriver. Okay, one tip that I hoped to show you and then I forgot to hit record. Whenever, sorry the laundry's going, whenever you're going to use the screwdriver to adjust your bridge, don't put metal on metal, put a little rag in there, line it up, and do the work that way you don't mess up the hardware. Same way here, same way here. So we have our bridge down to where we want it, 5/64 at the 17th and 4/64 at the 17th. And let's just tune it back up and we'll check intonation. Be right back. Okay, we got everything intonated and we're going to raise the stop bar just a little bit. Okay, so you don't want the back of the strings to touch the Tune-o-Matic bridge. You want to be able to just slip a piece of paper between there. See? And see? Alright, so I've got everything roughed in to where I want it. And take the old strings off, throw the new strings on, and then zero in the settings. Okay, so we got our stop bar back in here, being held by one of the old high school erasers. And there's a little tarnish on the fret, so I'm going to go ahead and hit it with a fret eraser. Clean the fretboard a little bit. One thing Reverend guitars I've found really like is low action at the first fret. They're really down there, lower than most guitars, but it works. Okay, we're back. Just had somebody drop off a mule resonator. That is going to be cool. So a little bit of headstock maintenance. You basically go and tighten everything down. Not crank it, but snug it. That's snug. Okay. Take your 10 mil and you snug the tuner bushings, which all are surprisingly snug. That's done. Okay, cool beans. Then the next thing we do is we take some guitar grease. At least that's what the people at Stu-Mac call it. Put a little bit in your bridge saddles. I was reading the Reverend Care and Feeding Guide, and they recommend making a mixture of Vaseline and graphite. These guys do it for you for like $10. Of course, I didn't know that when I started, and I've had this for like 6 years. So I'm going to go ahead and string it up now. Just don't do one. What I do is I make sure that the string is in the saddle properly, and then we go straight through the, if you can find it, oh there it is, it's a little crooked. Make sure we're in there and make sure we're in there. Pull it snug and crank it down. And that's why you should get locking tuners. Makes life so much easier. Alright, boys and girls, you see that we have our saddles way forward here, and it's still flat, which means the saddle needs to move that way. So this saddle and this saddle both need to be flipped, so that way the angle is facing that way as opposed to facing that way. That way needs to face that way, so that will give us more travel. Hey everybody, welcome back. We put the new strings on and we tried to intonate, and I had the saddle, this the low E saddle, all the way forward, and it was still flat. So I have to take a look at and see if I can't get this let go. Get this bridge to flip. Aha, there's a clip across the bottom. That's what's making it too difficult to get the string out. Must operate. If we do that, we still have the same problem because of the way the saddles are facing. See, if I took it all the way back just to see if it went, it's not going to work. So it has to go all the way this way to and the problem we're having is they got this goofy little spring that's in each one of these. It holds the saddle in place. And so we're going to have to deal with that. Just can't lose a spring. Okay, so we had some fussy little springs that we had to deal with here, and we were able to reverse the saddles. So now I have the angle facing that way. So we're going to restring it and get it to rock and roll. I'll probably have to burn a couple of strings, hopefully not. That's why you don't crank down the locking mechanism. But let me get back on this and we'll be right back. I almost forgot to turn the camera on to do the pick up height. Got the bass side. Come on. I can drop just a hair. Okay. Now we're using the same one. That needs to come way up. More yet. And by the way, see the saddles? These two were reversed. Now I've got a good 1/16 of an inch to play with, and the intonation is right. So I had to futz with those to change them. Okay, that'll go down just a little bit. Okay, that should be perfect. Yep. Okay. So we're going to let it rest. And well, just to tell you what we did so far. So we got the strings off. We have 10/1000ths of relief at the 7th fret. The string height at the 1st fret is good. The string height on the low E is at 5/64ths, and the high E is at 4/64ths. No string buzz, and let's see, can we still get the piece of paper through the thing there? I'm going to have to lift that saddle up. Still good there. I'm going to have to lift it, not the saddle, I'm going to have to lift the bridge up just a hair. That'll probably throw my intonation off on it. Looks like that got it. Nope, not quite. Let me raise it up again. There we go. Okay, so our stop bar is back up to where it should be. Pickup height is right. Of course, I said mistakenly that if I changed the height of this, it would change the intonation. Of course it wouldn't, because we're still measuring the distance from the nut to the nut to the bridge. That doesn't change if you lift the stop bar. It will, if you lift it, make these flat a little bit. You just tune it back up and intonation still stays the same. So everything is good. I'm going to let it sit overnight, let it acclimate to not having strings on it for a little bit, and luckily we didn't have to waste a string by loosening the locking mechanism there. So it's all good. Hey everybody, welcome back to Stringman Guitars. We're down here in the underground lair with our Double Agent, and sat overnight, and we finally have a chance to double check the intonation. I just brought it up to pitch. Let's see where we're at. Like I said, I just brought it up to pitch, and strings are still stretching. He's good. He's good. He's good. G's good. B is good still. E. Good. Okay. Let's hear how this thing sounds. We'll turn all the tone knobulators down. The tone rolled off and this bass contour rolled off. Middle position. Got to use that control so it doesn't get noisy. There we go. How's the volume? Volume doesn't make any noise. Okay. Creamy sound. Yeah. Okay, last thing we'll check is to make sure that the relief is still set right after it's set overnight on the bench. Looking for 10,000. And we got exactly that. So we're going to call this done. Call Buddy, tell him to get this out of the house and get rid of the strings now that we're done. Hey, that wraps up our double agent. And if you're in the Pittsburgh area and you need your axe sharpened, right here, Stringman Guitars on the Gmail, Facebook and YouTube. Please like and subscribe. Be good to each other. Love you long time. Have a great night.